Hi everyone, I'm Jen from Jen Plans, and I'm going to be doing a getting started session on planning. Whether you're new to planning or you're just looking for new ideas to incorporate into your planning, hopefully this will be helpful to you. I posted a Q&A request on my Instagram account, which is Jen_plans, and I got a bunch of great questions. So I'm going to try and go through them. I don't have answers to all of them. They don't all apply to me, so I'll be asking for help from some of you who might have advice in those areas, but I'll do the best I can to answer the questions that I got. The first thing that I wanted to say is what works for me might not be what works best for you. You kind of have to think about how you plan your day, how you plan your week, and figure out, what works best for you in your brain. Some people use it just as a schedule and they like very minimal decoration. Some people use it more as a scrapbook to keep track of family memories or things going on in their lives. There's no right, there's no wrong, really just what's best for you. So that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody getting started or trying to find a new planner that works for them, is you have to figure out what works best for you. Next is, don't decide on a system right away. Don't run out and buy a bunch of stickers or a bunch of washi tape until you really learn what your style is and what you like best. It's a regret that I hear from a lot of people as I jumped in too quickly. I bought things that I didn't really end up using that much. I have the same regret. So take a little bit of time. If you're going to go out and buy things, start small. Start with sampler packs. I'll kind of go into that in a little bit, but I wanted to put that out there too. That's my other big piece of advice is don't jump in right away, because you might change your mind. And even if you love something, you might change your mind as you learn more things from this community. So the first request that I got is a plan with me video. Guys, I've been trying so hard to film plan with me videos, and it is harder than it looks to get that camera all set up and lighting and making sure my kids are not screaming in the background. So I'm doing my best to try and get other plan with me videos up. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully I'll have that figured out soon. And then the other question I get is, what planner do you use? I think most people know from looking at my Instagram account that I use an Erin Condren life planner. I love it because it is a weekly and monthly setup, and it gives me a space to write to-dos on a to-do list on the weekly layout, which is a big complaint that I had from other planners that I used before an Erin Condren life planner. The first category of questions was, what are your supplies? To someone that's just getting started, what are your top 5 things that you recommend? So the first is all you really need is a good pen. So I prefer a Pilot G2. I use the 0.7 thickness. That's my personal preference. But if you're going to get started with pens, I would also recommend getting a Sharpie permanent marker, not for the pages, but if you're going to write on stickers, or definitely for washi tape. I have another video on my YouTube account, which pens should I use in my Erin Condren life planner, and that'll go through all the different pens that you could use, or at least the different types of pens. So if you want a little bit more detailed information on pens, head over to that video and give it a view. But I use a Pilot G2 in mine. The next is washi tape. You don't have to go crazy and buy a lot, but I like having washi tape to mark off. This is what it looks like for anyone that's not familiar. It's like decorative, easily removable tape. And I use it for marking off my husband's business travel, or just separating the weekend from the week with a thin strip of washi tape. A lot of people use it for decorative purposes. It's also big in the crafting world. If you're a crafter, you use it on party invitations or thank you notes or envelopes. The next is stickers. I would say if I had to abandon everything else that I have for my planner, I would keep probably my page flags from Target. They're from the dollar spot. They're really super cheap. Obviously they're $1 and you get a bunch. You can cut them to whatever size you need for your planner, and they're kind of multi-purpose. And then I love these sticky tabs from the Container Store. There are a bunch in here. They fit the width of the Erin Condren day. So I really like that too. A dashboard I probably couldn't live without either. Mine I use as a bookmark. It's a skinny tabbed dashboard. This one is from ARRlove, ARRlove on Etsy. It snaps right in. You can kind of see how it snaps in and out. And I put sticky notes on it, so I'll talk a little bit about how I use that later in the video, but that's another one. And then an adhesive roller. If you guys don't have one of these, I would invest in it. It's really cheap. I got this one at Michael's. It's the Recollections brand. And it's great because you can turn anything into a sticker. You don't need a fancy machine. You don't need, I have a silhouette, but you don't need one. You can get one of those X sticker makers that has the refills, but you don't need that. All you really need is either a glue stick or this. You can cut pictures out of magazines. You can cut the logo off of your bill from your Comcast and stick it in your, there's a million things you can do. Even the Target tabs that a lot of people complain aren't sticky enough. Just use an adhesive roller. That's what I do. It's really easy. It takes no time. So this is another secret weapon that I love for my planner. And then a close sixth, I know we said top 5, but I really love Undo. It's a sticker remover. It removes from paper, from really everything. So I don't use it that frequently, but when I need it, it's the only thing that works. So I recommend that too. Okay, so a bunch of the other questions I got were in the category of, what is this? What is that? What do you use this for? So the first is, what is washi tape, which I told you a little bit about. I think most crafters know, but it's an adhesive, decorative tape that is easily removable. There's a lot of decorative tape that is not easily removable. Sometimes it even says washi tape. So be careful when you're buying. I know Scotch has a couple brands that are not easily removable, but they look decorative. So make sure when you buy it, it says washi tape on it. And you just basically, unroll it, stick it onto your planner, and then you can either cut with scissors, you can tear it off with a gift card to make a straight line. But I really like it. I use it most of the time to block off long events or to section off my weekend, like I said earlier, or just as decorative, a little decorative addition across the bottom. I'm not really a big decorator, but I know a lot of people who love using washi tape. I also really like theme washi tape. So for example, my kids did gymnastics, so I got gymnastics washi tape because it was just a cute way to kind of mark that in my planner. It's not something you have to have, but I really like it. It gives you a lot of options. It's versatile. But my best use for the washi tape is for something that lasts more than one day that I need to mark off, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I can see it on paper that it's marked off. So that's washi tape. The next is, what is a dashboard? A dashboard can be a couple different things. Really the biggest that I've seen is something that you stick other things to. So you can either stick sticky notes on it or stickers that you can reuse, which I don't see that a lot, but I have seen. Not just sticky notes that you might need for notes of things that you're doing. Like I tend to use mine, the one that I use is a bookmark, sticky notes that have more information than what I can fit in my planner. So for example, I'll have, Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, and then on my dashboard I'll put a sticky note with the menu. So those are things that I don't necessarily want to have in my planner, but I want to have accessible. So that's something that's helpful for me. And then in the front of my planner, I'm going to use last year's as an example because I have not transferred it over yet. And then in the front of my planner, I keep some sticky notes that are ones that I can pull off and use in a different part of my planner. So that's kind of how people use dashboards. So I hope that answers that question. They generally snap in. You can buy them from, I think, some Etsy shops, and you have to use either an Erin Condren coil clip to clip it in. But I prefer buying them already punched and ready to go. My preferred shop is ARRlove on Etsy. She makes all different sizes and just any pattern you could imagine. I love them. It's also where I got my meal planner. So that's what a dashboard is. If you want to make your own, you just laminate something and then use an 1/8 hole punch and just line it up with your ruler. Every planner comes with a ruler. Line your ruler up, mark the holes, and punch them out. It's kind of labor intensive. You have to have a laminator, and it's a lot of trial and error. A lot of people don't get it right on the first try. So for me, I'd rather pay the $4 or $5 and buy one that is already done and looks great, and it just appears in my mailbox. So that's a dashboard. Which pens should I use? I kind of shared the pens that I like to use. You'll have to figure out what works best for you. Again, I would recommend watching my pen video. It kind of goes through the main types of pens and what features some of them have versus others that you might like or not like. So again, trial and error. Pick pens that you love. You can change it up. You don't have to use the same. You can use a pencil. Just totally up to your own personal preference. What stickers should I buy? That depends on a lot of things. What are you going to use them for? For me, I like using stickers that are very specific, that kind of emphasize a certain task. Some people like decorative stickers. It's Christmas time, you want to get a bunch of Christmas trees. That's great. My style is more functional. For me, I like using like a phone sticker to show, pull one out and show you. A phone sticker to show when I need to make phone calls. This is a good example of a sticker sheet that I like using. It has a little laptop, a little envelope, and then a little phone. So usually I'll use a sticker and then I'll write out my tasks that relate to it on the side. And then I know when I'm doing just a quick view, okay, phone, I need to make some phone calls now. I schedule my phone calls. And then really anything else that kind of just emphasizes the task at hand. So for example, these are for cooking or baking. If I'm doing meal prep or if I'm doing meal planning, sometimes I'll use a little sticker for that too. So that's what I use stickers for. If you're just looking to get started and you don't, Etsy can be really overwhelming. I'll talk in a little bit about where I get my stickers, but I think maybe start with a sampler pack. If you're unsure, you don't have to go out and buy every sticker pack you can find. You'll have to decide if you like removable or permanent or matte or glossy. It just really comes down to personal preference. So I would do some trial and error. Start with the stickers that come in the back of the Erin Condren Life Planner. Every Erin Condren Life Planner, I think people tend to forget about these. Every planner comes with a set of stickers in the back. They have the ones that are pre-printed, and then they also have some blank stickers. I've already used some, and these can be great too. I mean, you don't even have to go out and buy special stickers. So again, I think it depends on what you're going to use them for. If you're going to use them for function, look for stickers that have a good variety of different tasky things that you can use. I also sometimes like to use blank stickers to mark off sections of time. So if I have something that's going to be happening the first half of a day, I use a big sticker and then I'll write things on that so that I can see the color block when I look at it. I'm a very visual person and I just like to see it blocked off that way. So that's my preference. What adhesive do you use to stick things to your planner? Again, this is my go-to. If I'm going to make my own stickers, I use my Silhouette Cameo, which is an electronic cutting machine. You can also use a Cricut. I think the Cricut Explorer, I don't have one, but I think that's the comparable one. But if you're just looking for something easy, again, this is what I would recommend. And it's really cheap. How do you fix mistakes? So everybody makes mistakes or plans change or something comes up. I have a couple different ways depending on what exactly happened. If something was rescheduled or canceled, I usually use a strip of thin washi tape over the top and I write canceled or rescheduled. There are some Etsy shops that sell stickers just like that, so if you prefer a sticker, you can use a sticker. Washi tape works just fine for me. Or if it's something that, so I do that when I want to still see what was going on. Like if I still had, like last week my daughter and son were sick, so I had their event that they usually do that they couldn't go to anymore. I didn't peel it off or do white out because we didn't really do anything else during that time, and I wanted to see that it was still there, and I didn't want to go to the trouble of taking it out. But if I write something in and then it totally changes and I need to put it somewhere else, or if I do it on the wrong day, because sometimes I write something on the wrong day, I don't have my coffee in the morning, then I just use whiteout, just a little whiteout runner. And then you can also use undo. If you put something down that you really need to take off, this is what I use that for. Again, not very frequent, but when I need to use it, I love it. Where do you buy supplies? There are so many places. Craft stores, make sure if you go into a craft store like a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's that you're using a coupon. They always have great sales and great coupons. You should not pay full price for things there. Always find the coupon. You can usually get them right on your smartphone. Etsy is great. I would recommend Etsy for things that you can't find in a craft store, like a custom sticker set or even the little kawaii stickers. One of the shops I really like is Kawaii Stickers For You, and they have those little micro mini stickers that are really cute, and so I like those too. And you can usually get a good variety. I mean, you don't have to get a whole sheet of sushi stickers unless you like to eat sushi all the time, but you can get a good mix. So they have phones and computers and things that you would need to do every day if you're checking messages or sending emails or anything that you can think of, they have a sticker for. Etsy sellers that I have personally used, I have used Chrissy Ann Designs, My Queen Bee Designs, Stickers, Washi and More, Lily Henry, and Kawaii Stickers For You for my stickers. Those are the shops that I would recommend. I've had great luck with them. The sellers are great. I love buying from people who do original things and have stickers that look a little bit different than everybody else's. So that's my preference. But there are so many great Etsy shops out there that you just have to find one that works for you, find the style that you like the best, and the selection, and of course price point. Always make sure you look at shipping. A lot of great sellers have sales regularly, so always look for discount codes. But really the biggest thing is you can make stickers with anything. Like I said, someone just shared the great idea in the We Love EC Facebook group that they take some of their bills and they cut off the logo and they stick that in their planner. What a great idea. It's totally free. The other thing is taking the stickers from the back of the planner, so the ones that I showed you back here that everybody has that comes with your planner. If you have like the old school scrapbooking stickers, like the scissors, the pattern scissors, you can cut, like peel one off, cut it in half, and you can frame a box, or you can layer two of them together and that becomes a half box sticker, or you can cut it into the shape of a flag. I mean, there are so many things that you can do with what you already have. My other piece of advice is to swap with people. You don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money. Gather things that you have that you aren't using anymore, because what you're not using might be something that somebody else really loves. So gather up your old supplies that you're not using anymore, swap with somebody to get something that you want, or sell them and get something that you want. This does not have to be an expensive hobby. I know a lot of people always ask about budget. I think it's great to swap and not spend a lot of money on these things. So get creative. That's something that I like to see people doing. When I search on Instagram, I look for planner hacks and what people are doing that is cool and different. The Erin Condren Life Planner, use it as is, or do you have to modify it? I don't have to modify it for my personal use, but I see a lot of people that do. So redoing the headings or adding a dashboard. Well, I guess I do use a dashboard, so maybe I modify it a little bit. It's not a ring bound. It's not a ring planner, it's a bound planner. So if you're someone who likes to insert a lot of other things, you might have to either take it out and put it into like a KKK or some other kind of ring binder. But if you're not going to add anything to it, I don't need to personally. It has a notes section in the back. It has pretty much everything I need in it. So I would say it depends on your preference if you need to modify it, but personally I don't feel the need to modify mine. I got a lot of questions how to incorporate certain things. The first was how to incorporate direct sales. A lot of people in the planner community are in direct sales. I'm not one of them, so I don't have any advice for you. But anyone who's watching right now, if you are in direct sales and you have some great advice, an Instagram account or a YouTube video on how to incorporate direct sales into your planner, if you could link it in the comments, I would appreciate it, so that you could share with the people watching. So look there. If you have questions. I'm sorry I can't give you a good answer, but I don't have a great way to do that, but I know a lot of you do. So please share. How to incorporate a budget. I actually don't do budgeting in my planner. I do it in my Erin Condren notebook, which I'll do a separate video on, but I do a paper budget, so keep your eyes peeled for a video on budgeting. Meal planning. I use an insert, again, that I got from ARRlove. I keep it in the back of my planner every week. I sit down and do all my meal planning. I was kind of testing out some scratching to see if it would wipe off. But this is my meal planner. On one side it's meals, on the other side it's a grocery list. So during one of my Plan With Me videos I'll go through exactly how I use it, but that's how I meal plan, and then I transfer those meals into the bottom section of my week. How to use monthly versus weekly. I have still not found a great way to use my monthly, so I don't use it right now, but I'm desperate to find a great way. I've tried a few different things. I've tried a general overview of my schedule, and it was kind of too repetitive. A lot of people use it for budgeting. I keep my budget totally separate, so that didn't really work for me either, but it's another great idea. So I'm going to have to find a good way. I'm on the lookout. So if you have a good way to use your monthly section, feel free to link that in the comments as well. I would love to see it. Or post on Instagram and tag me so I can check it out. And then planning on the go. How do you plan when you're on the go, when you're at the doctor's office and you need to make another appointment? I keep some of my appointments in my phone, only because I don't carry my planner everywhere I go. I only take it with me if I'm going on a vacation or if I'm going somewhere where I won't have access to it for a long time and I might need it. But I don't take it with me to the doctor. I think I'm too scared of losing it. Maybe that'll change as things get older, but I'm also a stay-at-home mom and our schedule doesn't really change very much, so I don't have a lot of changing appointments or vacations or business trips for myself. So most things I can kind of do off the top of my head. Okay, the very last set of questions I got were about planning your week. How do you plan your week? How do you know what order to do things in? How do you manage things that are constantly coming in from teachers or from emails, different schedules? So that's the last part. I would say first, as information comes in, so if I get an email from a teacher with the next month's schedule, or I get a handout from their preschool that they're having a party for Valentine's Day, or I get an email from my husband saying I have a trip coming up, it's this date to this date, I kind of pull my planner out. I get usually Target flags because they're cheap, and I know that if I use a bunch of them and remove them later as I'm actually planning out my week, that's fine. I don't feel bad throwing them away. Usually I will write everything down either in my phone as soon as I get it, so that usually it's when I'm out, if I'm out, or I have a notepad on my counter. It kind of lives on my kitchen counter, and that's kind of where I jot everything down, including things that pop into my head that I need to do, like pick up whatever from the store, or I need to go to the UPS store, or I need to go to the post office. So I jot all those things down on a piece of paper, keep my list. I have my list on my phone, and then when I sit down to do my planning session, I have my planner that has the sticky notes in it for things that are coming up. I have my phone, and then I have my notepad, and those are all the things that I kind of check as I sit down to plan my week out. So usually every Sunday night I will sit down with those things. I open my planner. I have the sticky notes there. The first thing that I do is section off the weekend. I section off the bottom. I use washi tape for both of those. It just kind of helps me see the week a little bit better in a way that makes sense in my head. And then I look at what's already there. So appointments or travel or reminders for things like last week was my daughter's pajama day at school, and so I used a little flag on the top of the day for pajama day, because those are things that I don't want to put on my normal schedule because I'm afraid that I'll miss them. I'm actually naturally a really forgetful person, and so I have to have things stand out or else I lose them. So if you're that kind of person and you need a better way to keep things organized, I would say find a special place on your weekly layout that you can put things like that that'll stand out a little bit to you. So I look at what's already there, and then usually that's what I put down first, because those are the things that I know probably won't change. I need to work around those things. Some people prefer to decorate first and then put all their tasks and schedule in. It's just what works best for them. They like working off of a theme. It might be more visually appealing to them. I am a little bit different. I am function first, and so I put appointments in first. I put like I said, my husband's travel, basically anything that I know that's going on, those are the things that I put in first. I never really did color schemes before, but I kind of have started to play around with them just because it's fun, and so usually I have most of my sticker sets come in a rainbow pack, so I just pick a color or a few colors that go together, and I just use stickers that fit in those colors. And I stick those in for appointments or anything else that needs to be on there first before I start adding anything else. Then I go through the weather, and I plan my weather because I don't plan the weather. Planning the weather would be great. If I could plan the weather, that would be even better. Have not figured out a way to plan the weather yet. Sorry, I'm outside. Speaking of the weather. So I go Sunday night. I do Monday through Wednesday. I know I've said this in a few. I'm sorry. Like I said in another video, we live kind of in the wilderness, so I figured you'd rather hear the birds than my children who are inside right now. Anyway, sorry about that. I will fill in Monday through Wednesday weather. I do the high, low, and then if it's going to rain or be sunny or cloudy or snowy. And I do that because, like I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom. A lot of what we do during the day depends on the weather. How I dress my kids, which I plan out the night before, lay their clothes out because it saves us time in the morning. What activities we're going to do, what order we're going to do activities in. If I have a lot of errands to run that are like drive-through errands, like dry cleaners or the post office, I can do those things on a rainy day. I don't have to do them on a bright sunny day when I could be taking my kids to the zoo or taking them somewhere, to the park or places that don't really, you can't do when the weather's poor. So that's why I keep track of the weather in my planner. And I do Monday through Wednesday because if I do it any further than that, it's not reliable. And then Wednesday night I sit down and do Thursday through Sunday. And so that's how I keep track. I keep track just on across the top. So that's weather. And then, like I said, so the weather's in there, appointments are in there, the washi tape's in there, separating the weekend. That's when I start to add my tasks. And so I take my I take my notepad that I had on my kitchen counter, I take my phone, and I kind of go through on my sidebar. I break my sidebar into regular to do, and then I have to go and to call or to contact. And so I'll fill in that whole sidebar with things that I need to do during that week. And so that kind of helps me. I don't usually assign them to a day unless I know that some of those things will happen on a certain day. That's what I do each night before I go to bed. I spend 10 minutes and just go through the next day and kind of plan it out based on what tasks I need to do. So I add those in. I add those into the sidebar and then fill in as the week goes on. Then once those tasks are in, the appointments are in, everything that I know up to that point is done, then I go do my meal planning, because, I'm going to do a crock pot meal on a night that we're going to be running around all day and I'm not going to have time to do a dinner prep. I try really hard to cook 5 nights a week at home for my family. I love to cook. It's stress relief for me. I think it's healthier. It saves us money. So I generally, my approach to cooking and to meal planning is easy, cheap, and healthy. So I use the crock pot as much as I can. Those are all, I like to, repeat ingredients. If I get a bag of carrots, I like to use it for 2 or 3 meals instead of just one. And we make a lot of leftovers, and I do a lot of bulk cooking as well. So I plan out my meals pretty intensely usually, and then I write them across the bottom of my planner. So that's meal planning. And then usually by that point, I just fill in whatever the next day is, which usually on a Sunday night, that's going to be Monday, obviously. So I'll usually do my grocery shopping and a bunch of errands on a Monday morning. So I'll go through my stickers. I'll figure out how much time I have to dedicate to each thing. If I'm going to be doing something the whole morning and running a bunch of errands, I'll pick a sticker that has a little car on it to show that I'm running errands in my car. If I'm just going to go 1 or 2 places, like if it's just the post office, then I'll put down probably like a little envelope sticker or something to show that it's just going to be one of those little tasks, and then I'll come home and do laundry or clean up the house or things like that. So picking stickers for me, I have a couple different kinds of stickers for different things, and it just depends on what mood I'm in, what kind of matches with a theme that I'm doing that week. There really is not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. I just kind of pick things that go well with other things. So there's really no big secret. That's what it is. Just kind of what I'm in the mood for. So, just go with whatever feels right to you in the moment, and you can change your style from week to week. I do that a lot too. And then every night I sit down and spend like 10 minutes preparing the next day. So I look at my tasks from that day, what I got done, what I still need to do. I look at my sidebar. I figure out if I'm going to have a chunk of time where I know the kids are going to be in school and my little one's going to be napping, then I can do phone calls during that time, because I don't want to have a bunch of kids running around and I'm trying to call someone to come fix something, or whatever the case may be. So I try and find things that work within the time frame that I have, and then fit them in my schedule that way. I'm lucky that I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule. If you are someone that doesn't have a lot of flexibility in your schedule, you can probably plan a lot more of your week ahead of time. I just know that things can change for me from day to day, so I don't do everything all at once, but it's usually about 30 to 60 minutes on a weekend. If I really need to get all my stuff together and figure out the whole plan for that week. Sometimes I can do it faster than that if I'm in a hurry. And then and then every night before I usually spend those 10 minutes just planning out the next day. So and then again, like I said before, on Wednesday nights I do the rest of the weather for that week, and that's pretty much it, and that's how the rest of my week looks. Occasionally I will go back and add things after the fact that I did, we don't usually plan out a lot of our Sundays other than going to church in the morning and getting the kids stuff ready for school the next day. So I usually leave that open, then I go back and fill in at the end of the day what we ended up doing. I add a little playground if we went to the park, or meal planning if I was not able to do it earlier in the week. For the following week, I'll do that on a Sunday too. So some of it's just flying by the seat of my pants. So that covers all the questions that I got on my Instagram picture. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I can always come back and do another video with answers to those. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully soon I'll have a good Plan With Me video up. I give a lot of credit to you that are doing Plan With Me videos, because figuring out the lighting and the camera angle and getting all your stuff in there and being able to see it clearly is quite the task that I have not mastered yet. So hopefully I'll have one of those up soon. And then I am planning to do a video on my budget notebook as well. So if that's something you would like to see, let me know and I can try to put one of those together for everybody. And if you have any questions about anything else, again, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.